Welcome to the Synergy podcast, everybody. A space where we redefine how we move, heal, and experience our bodies. My name is Arianna Montanari, yoga synergy teacher, hope maker, and beekeeper, an advocate for a pain-free, pleasure-driven life. In this space, we break free from the unspoken rules that tell us how we should move, how we should look, how we should live our lives, and actually create a conversation about it. So intuitive movements, self-care, and deeper connection with nature. And we explore what it truly means to live without tension, pain, or limitations. So whether you're a yogi, a seeker, or simply curious about stepping into a more liberated way of living, you're in the right place. So let's dive in. In today's episode, we're gonna talk about massage versus yoga. Isn't it funny how we would pay 800, 1,000 crowns, or say 80, 100 euros for a massage, but hesitate when paying half of that or less for a yoga class that could change your body for life. And I see the irony daily in my work, and I deeply believe that this is part of my job as yoga practitioner and movement person to inform and to create awareness around this issue. And I've been thinking for many weeks, how can I talk about this, in a constructive way? My point today is not to point fingers to make you feel guilty, but is a little bit of changing a little bit of a change of perception and perspective. This episode is also recorded at my parents' house in Italy, so I hope that sounds and spaces will work just as fine as at my place in Sweden. So back to our massage. I noticed that, at least in Stockholm, as soon as the sun was shining, then bookings for my yoga classes really dropped. While I have many friends who are body workers and massage therapists, and they still were maybe slightly less, but still more towards fully booked. That made me really think, and I thought, okay, let's try to understand this behavior. We know there are plenty of body workers, massage therapists, there are plenty of yoga teachers. We're so many out there. And parallelly, of course, there is a great variation when it comes to what type of massage or yoga style we do, right? The quality and pricing, of course, and the connection, the chemistry, because we all know that as part of the equation, we need to like the practitioner to keep coming back, to give our trust. And going deeper to the root of this issue is, of course, lifestyle. We sit on a chair for many hours a day. We live lives where maybe there is a lack of movement, maybe a poor diet, in the sense that foods nowadays are actually less nutritious than they used to be 100 years ago. It can be the environment we live in, the quality of the water, and the list goes on. This is something that we will leave for another episode. But our bodies are made to move. Yes, the body is incredibly resilient, and yet it has so much to deal with, especially when we come over 40, 50, 60 years of age. Sometimes there are malfunctionings that need to be fixed, and there are two ways to go. One is I'm going to seek professional help, of course, from a physiotherapist, a body worker. I'm going to go and get a massage, or you can solve it by yourself through yoga, through movement. But the second option, in my experience, is too difficult. And I'll put it just there, it's too difficult. But one thing is sure, we crave instant relief, but avoid lasting change. Backtracking to my own experience, I have been dancing, practicing Pilates, swimming. I used to be a swimming teacher. I used to teach water aerobics. So I've always lived a very active lifestyle, but always in a lot of pain. So over the years, since I was a young teenager, I've always gone to many different physiotherapists and osteopaths and, massage people. Even there was this one old lady who didn't have any particular education, I think. She was just one of those women who feels the body, knows the body. And it was somebody that my aunt had recommended to my mother. And so we went, and she was actually good. But she would go so hard and so deep that I would leave the place with bruises. And I remember once I was teaching water aerobics, and they were all wondering, why is your back with so many bruises? And so I had to explain. But so over the years, I have never found a solution that actually helped on the long term. So my problem was still there. I would get temporary relief, but nothing solved my problem so that my problem disappeared, healed, until I found Yoga Synergy and the Synergy sequence. And listen, in this episode, I will be very honest with you, always with kindness and respect. And I really want you to remember that the purpose of this conversation, of this episode, is not for you to feel wrong or judged, to feel bad about yourself. It is an occasion to see things from a different lens, maybe to reconnect with our bodies. I think that if you are on the path of self-development or introspection, or how can I live a more sustainable, more healthy, however you want to define a healthy life, if you are on your quest, then we also want to work on this open-minded state. I am open to see other ways of seeing the world. And in practice, what does a massage give you, and what does movement give you? And you might say, well, that's pretty obvious. This is a podcast for dummies, but I have a teacher background, so we always start from the very basic. And you know that massage is passive, right? You go there, you lay on a bed, on a mattress, and somebody does a massage to you, applies the pressure, does passive movements on your body, on your joints, on your muscles. Yoga, and especially the synergy-based approach, is active participation, if you want to put it like that. So it is something you do with yourself, for yourself, and again, in my experience, this is where the learning happens. This is where we're actually reprogramming everything, the whole system, because we actually get to know our own functioning. When you do the work on yourself, you also learn to see the details, to observe, but you also see the big picture. So you put together, the breath, the joint movements, movement patterns, blockages, or tension that you might have, emotions, thoughts. So you start actually collecting data and being aware of what is happening in your body. And it's only from there that you actually understand the root of what is going on. Massage, of course, feels good now. But as I mentioned earlier, you will have to go back on a regular basis to feel the benefits, right? While yoga rewires your body and the nervous system to feel good always. For me, exploring Yoga Synergy was also understanding what I was doing that was causing this incredible back pain. And the thing, if you have listened to my previous podcast, it was potentially so easy. I was simply pulling in my navel the whole time. I had a hard belly the whole time. And of course, that was creating tension. But only me. The only person who could see this was myself, right? And of course, Simon, my teacher, he saw that I was doing it, but he's a movement-based, exercise-based physiotherapist, and he has a very trained eye for this. But imagine, it took me more than 15 years of massage, physio, osteopath to actually come to a solution myself with the help Simon. So when I thought that my body was broken and there was absolutely nothing to do, well, that was not true. It was just a part of the truth that I had created. I was outsourcing my power. The synergy practice, the synergy journey is really a journey of claiming our power back through self-awareness, through movement, through knowing that I can go in and see what is going on. Most of the times, of course, all right? There's always some help that we can get, and it is always a work in progress, so you can always go deeper. If you want, you can see massage as maintenance and yoga as a self-mastery, right? Most of us can agree that touch is important. Okay, not everybody likes to be touched, but physiologically, it makes so that we produce oxytocin, and we need it. It's very comforting for us humans to be touched and massaged and hugged. But if we only rely on it, we also disconnect from our own power. We're always thinking that somebody else will heal us. Somebody else will give us the answer. Somebody else will fix things. And mind, there is no wrong or right. They just have two different functions. Compare it to, say, brushing your teeth. Massages are like a deep clean that you do on a regular basis, once or twice a year, while yoga is daily brushing. That's the daily maintenance. So why outsource what your body is fully capable of creating on its own? It can be movement issues, so say issues with your knees, with your back, with your hips, your shoulders, your neck, muscles, or joints. It can be regular headaches and migraines that you go to a lot of different doctors and specialists, and nobody can give you an answer on why. I had an issue around my groin a few years ago, and I've had it for a long time until I decided to have it checked. But doctors couldn't see anything. They're like, there's nothing here. I don't know how to help you. And I was quite discouraged. I was like, oh, there's what? And as I was practicing this method of actually going in and feel what could this be, I noticed that I was always tensing that area. And so over the months, I started to practice this relaxation. Air relaxation exactly in the area that I felt was, it felt like almost like a needle. Somebody was just like pinching me. So it was a very specific feeling that maybe the doctors could not even fully understand. Well, after a few months, that sensation, that pinching sensation was completely gone. And maybe I don't necessarily need to know what it was exactly, but what I know is that in that area, there was too much tension. I was tensing, and as soon as I started to relax, then the body healed it on its own. So this outsourcing capacity is also leaking energy, because just imagine how much time that goes towards booking the physio, going there, having your appointment, going back, make it work, and also the financial investment. It is expensive to go to a physio. And again, okay, I am not saying that you should not go to the physio, but they can be both practicing yoga or having a more aware practice can support you on a daily basis. And the professional physiotherapist can support you when you cannot do it yourself, rather than the opposite, that I always go and find answers outside of myself, and then maybe remember that you do have the answers once you know where to look and how to do it. I want to take a moment to talk about something truly special and close to the heart. Miele Strega, my own line of natural handmade body products. And as you know, I am passionate about moving with ease and feeling good in our bodies, and that extends to what we put on our skin. Each batch of Miele Strega products is crafted with love, for real, by me, using ingredients from my very own beehives and my darling bees, combined with the pure botanicals. Whether it's a soothing, luxury whipped body butter, a nourishing lip balm, or a gentle soap, everything is designed to support your body's natural rhythm, just like the practices we explore here. If you're looking for skincare that's pure, it's intentional, and deeply connected and aligned to nature, check it out at mielestrega.com. And because you're a listener, I've got a special gift for you. Use the code SYNERGY10, spelled with Y and Y, for 10% off your first order. Now, back to our conversation. As usual, in these episodes, I like to go deeper. So, what do these behaviors really mean? Why are we choosing to go to get a massage rather than go to a yoga class that could potentially solve this issue? In my case, my back pain is gone. I don't need to go to a physiotherapist anymore. I actually do not need it because it's gone. And whenever I feel a little bit of pain in my knee, in my wrist, I know what to do to make it heal quick. And then, I don't know if in 20 years I will be needing a new knee maybe, but I am doing my best today to keep my body functioning and pain-free. So what does it say about ourselves? Something that I'm working a lot with in these months is my avoiding pattern. How easy is it to avoid things we don't want to do? Avoid conversations we do not want to have. Avoid people we do not want to see. And I think that we all have our own avoiding patterns. I hope I would feel less alone in this. Also, the postponing habit, I think they go a little bit hand in hand. And I see this as like deeply rooted in my family. I see I'm now at home, and I definitely see all these patterns of avoiding. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I'd rather not do it, and then whatever. And then it just something that piles up. Can be objects, it can be things to do. So are you avoiding showing up for yourself? What's scarier? Moving through your discomfort and starting to feel comfortable in your discomfort until you don't see the discomfort anymore? Or is it scarier to stay stuck in the discomfort? We say that we do not have time for yoga, but we make time for things that numb us, like Netflix. I don't know if you drink wine, scrolling, or a quick massage. And so in this case, all of these are quick fixes. They do not provide a long-lasting solution that will make the problem disappear. And you know this. And I mean, we all go through this, It is easier. It requires less energy to go and scroll rather than to do the actual job. We have spoken in the masterclass that I held in May about all these loopholes and keeping those in mind. Why do we avoid doing long-lasting job? So the truth is that many of us aren't avoiding yoga because it's hard on the body or because they're not flexible. We're avoiding it because it asks us to be present with ourselves. And that's the real stretch. That's like, it requires my attention, my energy, my full focus. And it's now, but it will also require a lot of work over time. And since we are already usually in overload, I cannot do this. This is too much. I don't have time for this. It will be when I have a calm period. It will be when I change job. It will be when my kids are older. You see, these are always somehow excuses that we are creating for ourselves because we have already so much. Our nervous system is already overloaded. Our body is already overloaded. Stepping on the mat means meeting whatever is alive in your body today. And it can be tightness, emotions, resistance, maybe even grief. It can be superpowers. So it's all the variation, and that can feel intimidating, especially when we do not live in a society where we normalize being in touch with ourselves. But believe me, this is also where the magic happens, when we can actually release stuff. I had a somatic release just the other day with one of my coaches, and what we did is, and it sounds like so simple, but we moved or danced for half an hour. At first feeling what was inside of us, and then just moving without thinking how it should look, how it's supposed to look. What moves shall I do? What type of movements should this music require? You just go, you just move. So I want to ask you, with love, what are you really avoiding? Is it your pain? Is it discomfort? Or is it your power? Is it all the things that you could do and achieve without the burden of discomfort or pain or constant injuries? Because that is also, I know, that can be scary. How contradicting that can sound, but I know that we can also feel overwhelmed by that. And one layer deeper, women, we are conditioned to receive rather than act. I want to explain this better. It's like to be passive, to get fixed, right? We are living in a time where we are reclaiming agency. We are learning to trust our bodies again and breaking the habit of outsourcing our healing. We have been conditioned to receive care and provide care for others, of course, but not to claim the power. And I really hope that this can open up for a conversation, a reflection for you on your deeper patterns, especially for women or people who identify themselves as women, but also for men. We have different challenges and patterns. And I also know that at the beginning, these patterns are not easy to be seen, but I really wish for you that you do the work and slowly start to actually, oh yes, I noticed this, I do this. Many of us grew up with the message that we should be taken care of, right? The healing is something done to us and not something that we can create within ourselves. I have always this image of, looking out for stretching out a hand, always hoping for support and answers from others. We've been taught also that pain is something to endure, to fix, to numb, that it is normal to have pain, chronic pain. And no, it's not. Pain is a signal. Pain is something we can learn from because it is signaling something. And we need to move through it to be able to release it. We need to give it attention to understand what it's saying, where it comes from, and then release it. When it comes to body-based practices, we've been taught to perform or be passive. Rarely to trust our gut feeling, our instincts, our own rhythm. I usually say this in my classes, how beautiful it is that we all move in different ways. And rather than try to standardize all the movements, be proud of your ways. Give fuel to that. Let it shine, It's beautiful. This disempowerment over time shows up in subtle ways. And it can be something as easy as, I need someone to crack my back. I used to say all the time, oh my God, my back is so sore. I need my partner to give me a little massage tonight. Or I just want someone to release my neck. So it's always someone else out there. But what if I told you your body knows how to heal? That you are the most powerful medicine with the right knowledge, with the knowledge that will unlock a whole world for you. So reclaiming your body, moving with it and not against it, is radical. It's how we start to heal not just ourselves, but generations of inherited disconnection to then pass it on. And I really want to highlight this message because it's a lot about our culture, but it's also about an emotional depth that needs to be seen in order to be healed. In this space, we speak about the body, but the body is emotions, behaviors, habit, is what happened to us. We always need to talk about both in order to understand ourselves a little bit better. So if you are on the edge of a transformation, if you are in the middle of a journey, I really hope that this episode will support you in really claiming your own power. And if you are curious about the synergy method, I will drop a few links in the description for this episode of some free classes that you can download from my website. Also, there are some classes on YouTube, some short sequences that you can go and check out and try. And at the beginning, it will feel different. Remember, same technique will give same results. Different techniques will give very different results. And we are in the different ones. I don't want to hide anymore and try to fit into the fitness yoga world because it just isn't. What I share and practice is not the regular vinyasa that you go and do at the gym. It is something way more deeper, way more articulated, like our body, much more nuanced, like our body and our emotions and our nervous system and all the beautiful nuances in our bodies. So download those, have a try. You can also follow me on Instagram. You can go and listen to what Simon Borg Olivier, my teacher, what he has to say. He is the founder of this sequence, and he has an incredible gathering collection of knowledge from both the Eastern cultures and the Western practices, and really managed to put them together into what is the synergy, the fluid flow, the 5-dimensional flow that he teaches. It is a way to empower yourself to heal. So you do not have to rely always on somebody else, but you need to, all right, stop right there. What's going on? How can I support myself? Where is this coming from? And this can take 5 minutes. Doesn't have to take 1 hour. But just to understand what it is that it's hurting and why will give you the key to then heal it and maybe avoiding those movements that actually are hurting. The synergy practice does feel like a massage, but the difference is that it lasts longer and you leave with more self-connection. And going toward the end of this episode, I also want to highlight that this is about sensuality, it's about embodiment, it's about self-trust, not being rigid or pushing. I invite you to reimagine yoga as most nourishing self-care there is. Simon always gives the example that the practice should feel like you're taking a warm bath and somebody you love is giving you a massage. So yes, massage is back in the picture, but it is that feeling that you're safe, it's warm, there's no effort in it. It's pleasant. And this is why we bring in the pleasure. I want you to know that you can feel good. You can move without pain. And this is a very important piece. I also thought that there was no hope, that I will be in pain my whole life, but this is not true. You just need to find what works for you. You don't have to rely on someone else to fix you. You just have to show up for yourself. Actually take the time for it, because your body is wiser than any technique. Your breath is your best healer. Movement is the best healer. So let's stop outsourcing our magic. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Synergy Podcast. I hope this conversation sparked something within you, hopefully a new way of thinking, feeling, or moving. If you love this episode, let me know. Share it, leave it a review, or connect with me on Instagram, where you will find me under the name Miele Strega, the Honey Witch. And if you're ready to go deeper, check out my yoga offerings on mielestrega.com and Root and Flow, Synergy and Creativity Retreat in Tuscany in October. Remember, your body is yours, your pleasure is yours, and living pain-free is possible. Until next time, move with ease and live with joy.